Hello, wonderful. This is Sarah, and I'm here with Melanie Hersch, and she is a psychotherapist turned dating and relationship coach. She's going to help us find our blocks that are keeping us back from love. Hey, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Good. Did I do a good job telling people what you did, or do you want to
You
add more?
no, that's great. I'm sure we'll get into it more as we
Oh,
as we start talking. Yeah,
we
but
will
that's
get into it more. Now, so I'm guessing, like in my work, you start to see patterns.
hmm
Right? Like, oh man, women are always doing this, or men are always doing this, or not always, 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 but you can start to kind of figure out, predict the future in some ways, right? When you see something like
yes,
that.
absolutely.
Awesome. So, what
Absolutely.
are some patterns you see in that are blocking people from finding love, or myths surrounding finding love?
Yeah, well, I think the myths and the patterns are a little bit different, but some of the things, the main patterns that I see are so often people have limiting beliefs, these insecurities, fears that they haven't really unraveled.
Mm-hmm,
And they're kind of, these subconscious beliefs that are really running them.
mm-hmm,
And I find that those get in people's way the most. So
mm-hmm,
for instance, if someone feels like I'm not enough in some way, or I'm not skinny enough to get the guy I want, or I'm not successful enough, or I'm not, and they've got those insecurities, what happens is we endlessly attract in people that
mm-hmm,
reflect our beliefs back to us and prove them
mm-hmm,
true.
mm-hmm.
So, when someone has limiting beliefs that are kind of going on underneath the surface, they end up repeating the same patterns and pulling the same types of people in who reflect those beliefs back to them. That really gets in people's way the most.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one thing I see that really impacts people. And when they start doing the work to unravel the beliefs that they have that don't serve them, it's a game changer.
And it's my guess is there's two different beliefs, like beliefs about ourselves and beliefs about the world.
Yes, absolutely. There's beliefs about ourselves, there's beliefs about love,
Mm-hmm.
there's beliefs about what the future holds
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, in the world in general. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's so important to unpack those, or
Mm-hmm.
else they jump in the driver's seat and they just take over our life
Yeah.
and drive us to, people that
Mm-hmm.
match them.
And if it was like, hey, you're in the driver's seat, but don't worry, someone else is going to have the wheel. That sounds terrifying. But
Yeah,
those
yeah.
limiting beliefs are the ones steering. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. They steer the
Yeah.
car. I mean, I think oftentimes we think our conscious beliefs are
Mm-hmm.
steering and they've got the
Mm-hmm.
wheel, and it's not, it's the subconscious.
Yeah.
And so it is so important to make sure that we really bring them into the light and work on them. Otherwise, they completely influence, the decisions we make, who we pick, who's drawn to us, all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. There was a client that I had, and had broken up with an ex, but
Yeah.
she was driving by his house to
Uh,
see what was going on there. And
uh,
she said, what's my belief, or what do I need to work on? I said, I'll make this even easier. What would happen if your neighbors all knew you were doing that? And she was like, oh my gosh, I would be horrified.
yeah.
She goes, well, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore, And sometimes you're
Yeah.
talking about bringing it into the light. When you start, like, what if everybody knew I was thinking this? What if
hmm
everyone,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
you
interesting to
know?
think about that if people could observe us. But yeah, it's interesting. Like someone who's driving by an ex's house,
Mm-hmm,
for me, I would go, what's going on there? Like, you're obviously still hooked into them and what
mm-hmm,
they're doing. So is there a belief that you can't do better, that this was your person?
right.
Like what are the beliefs that are having this person
Mm-hmm,
stay at the forefront of your mind, even though the relationship is over, and
mm-hmm,
hooking you in? And once they really unravel that, the
mm-hmm,
desire to be, checking in and looking through the
mm-hmm.
windows will diminish.
Or looking through the windows of your phone on social
Yes.
media, right?
Oh, yeah. And scrolling and searching and looking at what they're doing. I
Mm-hmm,
think,
mm-hmm,
a lot of times people stay snagged. They're kind of hooked into their last relationship because they don't believe they can do better, or,
Mhm.
they worry that's the best they could do, or they fear that
Mhm.
there's not a lot of great people out there. So they're still
Yeah.
plugged into that person.
Okay, and those are all limiting beliefs, right? Because I was going to kind of bring back some of those beliefs, like, to
Yeah.
explain others, and you just did a beautiful job. That's the best I could do. There's never going to be anyone else. All men are crap. No one will ever
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
me.
I'm unlucky in love. I'm not good enough. No
Yeah.
one else will love me the way they loved me. And
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
beliefs like that that keep people stuck, and then stuck in this certain pattern. And,
Hmm.
but once you believe, like, if you really got that there's actually an abundance of great men out there, and this
Hmm.
isn't the best I could do because it didn't work out. So obviously
Hmm.
it's not the best I can do. If you
Hmm.
really believe that there's a better, healthier relationship for you, you're not going to be driving by their house or looking at their social media every day. So there's a
Hmm.
bunch of layers to it, but the beliefs, I would say, is the number one thing that contributes to people's patterns that don't serve them.
And I think the story we tell ourselves in so many ways, the beliefs keep us safe, right? Because if there are no good men out there, I don't have
Yeah.
to get out there. I don't have to face rejection.
Yeah. I could
I don't
just
have
be in
to.
my victim world. And it's,
Right.
we're comfortable with our beliefs in a way, even though
Hmm.
they might actually create a lot of discomfort for us in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
familiar. And so we love what's familiar. I mean, you think about it, it's like when we play that sad song over and over and over again on repeat, it's like, it may cause us to cry every second, but it's like, oh, it's comforting.
Hmm.
It's that song we know. And so,
Hmm.
yeah,
Well, I was in a clubhouse and they talked about somebody's comfort zone. And they
yeah,
said it's just what's familiar, it's not what's comfortable. And I think even
yeah,
that little shift, because we say, oh, I'm just staying in my comfort zone. It's like, man, your comfort zone seems like miserable. I think you're becoming an
yeah,
alcoholic in your comfort zone. You know,
yeah, yeah,
it's like
yeah.
maybe we should step out of it, right?
Yeah, it's just familiar. So it feels
Yeah.
safe. Like we know it. We know that. We
Hmm.
know that depression, or we know that funky feeling, or
Hmm.
we're familiar with it. And so
Hmm.
I think it just keeps people stuck.
And one of the reasons I think it feels safe is because we don't have to develop the resiliency that it takes in dating, right? Because there is some figuring it out and figuring them out, and the discernment and figuring out who's good for you, or there's some resiliency involved, right?
Totally. I mean, if you don't know how to be resilient in
Mm-hmm.
dating, it's going to be a painful, really challenging experience. So it's
Mm-hmm.
so important to become resilient and make sure that, you can have fun with it. If people disappear or don't show up, it doesn't take you out. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't built that up, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy making.
And you use the F word, fun, not the other one,
Yeah,
you know?
I was like, I did. Oh my God, I didn't mean to. It just slipped out so naturally. Yeah.
The fun word, right? And that is not a conversation people who are frustrated, a different F word, are talking about. When it's like, there's, oh, I'm never going to find anybody. I'm never this. Like, and they lose complete sense of the fun, which it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And then they're operating from this very neat, I don't want to say broken, but just a broken down
Yeah.
version of their best self. I'll say it that way, because they're not broken apart, but they certainly wouldn't say it was their best self. And as coaches, we see like, oh, honey,
Yeah.
how do you start to reestablish inserting fun into the dating process?
Yeah. So I think dating can become fun when
Mm-hmm.
you've cleared different layers within you that are sort of blocking you. So for instance, we'll go back to the limiting beliefs. If you have limiting beliefs that you're not enough, or there's not enough good men, you're going to be all tweaked out, insecure, pony
Yeah.
dancing to get attention. That's not fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a victim mindset, if you are kind of looking through a lens of, oh, everything's so hard and it's challenging, and you're not looking through a growth lens,
Yeah.
then that's going to be hard. When things show up that are challenging, you immediately go into victim mode, which, it's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, yeah, if you haven't learned how to be resilient and let things roll off of you, it's it's not fun. So it's so important, to look at, I think a lot of times people create a lot of meaning from things that happen in dating. So a guy
Yes.
picks you, he's calling you, he's giving you attention. Oh, I'm worthy, I'm valuable,
Mhm.
everything's good. And then he doesn't, and you fall apart. Like that's not gonna work. And it's not fun because the power is always in the other person's hands. So you
Mhm.
have to really, I'm always encouraging everyone I work with, it's all about doing the inner work and making sure that you're in the healthiest place possible, that you love your life, that you're really focusing on being fulfilled in yourself. So you're not looking to someone else to bring you joy and fulfillment,
Yeah.
that you've cleared out old wounds, you've forgiven people, that, you've worked on your limiting beliefs and your mindset. And when that stuff is all dialed in,
Yeah.
dating is naturally really fun.
Because it's
So
set up with
yeah.
expectation of good rather than expectation of more data to confirm our brokenness or that nobody wanted us or that life will never get better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like when you don't have those beliefs ruling you,
Mhm.
when they're gone, then it's like, what are your beliefs? Your beliefs are, yeah, there's great people out there and I'm
Right.
solid and I'm good and I'm worthy of love and everything's happening. I also
Mhm.
think in terms of resilience, the more that you've developed a connection to sort of source energy,
Yeah.
something higher than you,
Mhm.
that makes it easier too, because when you can really trust that what's happening is serving you and
Mhm.
it's not against you, it's for you, so when
Mhm.
people disappear, it's good, um,
Mhm.
then you become way more resilient too. And then it's more fun. Yeah.
So I make a joke and I say, I would really like to be on Oprah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because people say, oh, I want to find the one. I want to find the one. And I say,
Yeah.
well, do you think that I appear to be failing? And they're like, what, Sarah? That's great. You're not. It's like, but Oprah
Yeah.
hadn't called.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I must be a failure. She probably rejected me today. She probably came across my book and didn't love it. Right. If you start going into that, which is all craziness,
Yeah.
she does not know I exist, I'm sure, yet.
Yet. Yes.
Yes.
I
You
mean,
know,
there's
yeah,
life is long.
because
Yeah.
exactly, yes. But that's been a funny example for people because it's, yeah, I mean, I am really speaking from a place of privilege to say I'm ridiculously ugly, amazingly happily married. I mean, it really is easy. We got married in Capri, Italy, and I said it's easy to look at the website and see this picture of me in this designer dress with the oceans of Capri behind me.
Yeah.
And, then here I am like, oh, just wait, it'll work out for you. It's like
Right.
speaking from a face of
Right.
recognized privilege. And I would probably hate this version of me like 6 years ago, like she thinks she's not, whatever. So I'm speaking from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And saying, gosh, through the dating process, growth mindset, making it fun, that expectation of things working out for you and not waking up every day saying, Oprah didn't call today.
Yeah. And making meaning out of it. Oh, then I'm a failure. Yeah. It's like we're such meaning making machines, And
Yeah.
so if we can stop making meaning and get
Mhm.
really solid within ourselves, we're
Mhm.
more relaxed, we're more peaceful. Things flow in and out with more grace and ease.
So is the meaning that we have, I'm just thinking like a healthy
Yeah.
meaning, I haven't found the right person yet. Is that like like when they don't call, when you get rejected, that
Yeah.
moment of like, ugh, what
Yeah.
is a healthy meaning to make out of that?
That's not my person.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my person. I'm newly single again, so I'm getting out there again, and I'm back, joining my clients on apps in the
Mm-hmm.
dating world, and
Mm-hmm.
it's great because I've been putting this into action, and it's so much more fun this way. It's like if a man reaches out, and I might like his profile and go, "Oh, he seems like he could be really great. This seems like a good
Mm-hmm.
contender," and then he doesn't follow through, and he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. He says he's going to reach out, and he doesn't. Now, back in the day, I would have flipped out. Oh God, did I say the wrong thing? Did I use the wrong emoji? Do I seem too needy? Oh, blah, 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 And
Mm-hmm.
now it's like, if he's not reaching out, he's showing me who he is. Like he's just not that
Yeah.
interested, or he's not fully available. And that's okay. Like my
Mm-hmm.
guy, the one that's for me, is going to be available right now. He's going to be showing up. He's not good, so
Mhm.
it's easy. There's no tweak in me of, oh God, why are
Mhm.
they pulling back? It's not the right person. I love that quote. There's like rejection it was God's protection, but it could be life's
Yeah.
protection. And I think it is when someone's
I
not choosing us.
see that about exes. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that did not work out.
Yeah, like trusting that, really
Yeah.
trusting what comes towards us and what moves away from us
Mm-hmm.
is so huge when you're out there
Mm-hmm.
dating.
So it's interesting when I talk to females dating
Yeah.
coaches versus male dating coaches,
Yeah.
and I ask this question, but I'm going to ask you. So, where do you tell your clients to meet good or nice or whatever wonderful guys, Mr. Right? Where do you tell your
This,
clients to find them? Yeah.
yeah. Gas stations. No, just kidding.
Sure. I picked up a guy in the car wash one time. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if I had like a whole new place, like this place? No,
But I make that joke and I say, like, oh, the government has, like, you're in the US, right?
Yeah.
Are you in the US? Okay. So
Yeah,
the US government, they have this like document, and on Thursdays at the Starbucks on Madison Avenue, like if you show up there between 11 and 12 and you have a blue flower on your then, and people laugh because it's like, they recognize that it's a ridiculous question.
Yeah. Yeah. But
But I ask everyone because everyone always asks.
And I will tell you, I will say I am a huge fan of online app dating. I have had beautiful love from that. My clients are constantly meeting their partners, their beloveds, they're getting married, they're having kids. It's, I think that there's this, a lot of times people say, I just want to meet people organically, and I get that. Who doesn't want to just bump into someone on the grocery store aisle and, oh, your eyes lock, you got your mask on, your eyes lock, and it's just the one. It's dreamy and it's a nice fairy tale, but in reality, there's so many people out there that you're not going to run into at the grocery store or aren't friends with your friend. And I think you cast the web, out far when you're on online dating. And I think there's so many incredible people there, and why you can meet people organically and bump into them on online dating. You cross each other's path and go, wow, let's get to know each other. I just think that a lot of people give it a bad rap, and I think it's such a great tool to meet incredible people.
Interestingly enough, when I ask guys that question,
what do they say?
Dating coaches, they hardly ever say online dating.
What do they say? I'm so curious.
Female, oh no, like, oh, meet activities, go to meetup, where, go to conscious things. And they're not against online dating, but statistically, there are more men than women on online dating, right?
Yes. Maybe. So, I don't know. I just know one side. Yeah.
It used to be, I don't know, that's a pretty old statistic, but I've heard in the past, it was because, they would actually have more competition online than females would. So I'm like, why do men say this and women say this? I'm very curious.
It is interesting. And I wonder if part of that is that men, because a lot of times we think about men sort of leading, the men ask the women out, like that's traditionally. And so they have more, they could be anywhere and they could just say something and ask someone out. Like they have that kind of ability. And of course women do too. But I wonder if that has anything to do with it, that kind of traditional men can ask women out. So when they're out in the world, they can just see a woman they're interested in and talk to them and ask them out. Whereas maybe women don't do that as much. And so online dating provides that opening. Not sure.
Well, that's interesting because that is a lot of what they coach men on. Is that initial meeting and that, so that can make sense. Yeah. And they try to do it in a very conscious, authentic way. I'm very careful about who I have on here, but it is that piece. So, okay, let's talk about online dating because the recent dating coaches I've had have not wanted to talk about online dating. They talk about the other stuff. So let's imagine me. Okay. And I won't say who I'm talking about. It's not me, but they two, divorce, very high quality man she was married to, but then he ended up cheating, then he goes through another relationship, long-term, again, on paper, a very high caliber person. And then online dating. And it seems like she's picking out of the trash bucket. Like, it's just like, whoa, where are all the men with jobs and where, and she is in a city that's populated enough to have men with jobs,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. They exist.
Yeah. And she's frustrated. She's broken down. She's like, this is just awful. I'm just so exhausted. I keep trying. I hear it's a numbers game, but I'm exhausted. What advice would you have for her on continuing her process?
Yeah. Well, first, I mean, I would make sure that she's sort of looked at, does she have any beliefs that aren't serving her? Because that's going to get, I mean, if you're not valuing yourself in some way, if you believe there's scarcity, you might be picking people and saying yes to people that you wouldn't normally, because that belief is ruling you. So I'd make sure she looks at that. And then it's really about discernment. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of guys out there that maybe aren't high quality. Maybe they don't have a job, like not that the job, sometimes people are in transition, but that aren't really what she's looking for.
Yeah.
I think that it's so important to get really good at discernment and picking out flags. So if she's connecting with these guys, it means she's picking them. So if she learns how to approach online dating differently and optimize the process, and maybe
so what do you mean by optimize? I think I know what you mean, but let's dive into optimize the process.
So first of all, if you're looking for a high quality partner, you want to make sure that you're showing your values and your beliefs in your profile so that they can find you easily. If you're just saying, hey, I love Taco Tuesdays and hiking, or whatever, just stuff that's normal. Sure. It's hard for that perfect person to recognize you because you're just talking about activities. I mean, I see a lot as people go, I love good food and good movies. I'm like, who does it? So that's not telling, but if you write a profile that's dialed in, that shows your depth and your humor and what you're really like creating in your life, it's going to be a way better calling card. It's going to attract in that right person with so much more ease because they're going to recognize you. So you want to make sure that your profile is dialed in the best way. You're not just showing things you like, but you're showing your values. That's going to be helpful. And then making sure that you're swiping or picking people that are showing that too. A lot of women will go based on maybe a guy doesn't write much, but he's really hot, or they like his photos. And that's not the best way. You're looking to see, are they showing up? Have they invested time in writing a good profile? How are they engaging with you? There's so many of these little things that when you can hone in on it and get really good at picking out the flags and your profile's dialed, it becomes a lot easier.
And how specific do you suggest being? Like, am I dating, marriage minded? How specific do you tell your clients to be on that profile? And then how selective as they're choosing?
Yeah. I don't think you necessarily need to write, I mean, you can write marriage minded or whatever, but I think you can kind of get a sense of people typically from their profile, just to energetically where they're at. But I think it's important to highlight the things that are important to you. So for instance, for me, I'm not going to jive with anyone that's not really into personal growth work or doesn't, isn't in this world. They're not working on themselves. They're not committed to being the best version of themselves. Like that's important to me. So I'm going to have something in my profile about, how I'm a personal growth geek and I'm always working on bettering myself. Now that's going to call in, someone will be drawn to me. If they're like that, they're going to recognize that and go boom, boom, boom. Immediately we have something in common. The marriage minded stuff, all of that stuff will reveal itself. That can come out when you date or when you talk. But I think, the profile is just a chance to show what's important to you. And if you are really marriage minded and this is something that you really want to put there, like I'm looking for deep partnership, sure, you can put that there too.
It's so interesting, like people's different theories and stuff. If my husband had came across, we met in real life, but if he had came across me and I had said marriage minded on a dating profile, he'd been like, swipe, nope.
No, yeah.
No way.
And it's interesting because of course that can absolutely scare certain people away. And then there's the mentality of it will scare the wrong, like the people that aren't right for you away, in that if they're not in that place and you are, maybe it's not your, it's not the perfect fit, but that's interesting. So when you met your husband, he wasn't marriage minded? He was just kind of.
No, he said he was never going to get married again. And when we got married, Like everybody was like, what? I can't believe you got married again. And for him, he'd had such a bad first experience that I was like, hey, it's still going to be me. Like, it's still going to be me you're married to. I'm not flipping a switch and turning into this other person.
A different person. Yeah.
No, but I had 2 young kids. I was like, look, I'm not having a 10-year boyfriend.
How long did you hang in there before you said, I'm not going to have a 10-year boyfriend?
So 2 years. 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. I met him really recently after my divorce.
Yeah.
And statistically, they say there's no way you should ever get married from 2 years from your divorce. Like, because you change so much, you grow so much, you know. And so for year 1, it wasn't an issue at all because I was like, I just got divorced. If I'm like talking about getting married again, that's like, whoa, that should be a red flag for everyone involved, you know? And then right when we've been together a year, my grandmother died. And I saw her. I was the one who like said, okay, give her the last morphine. And then she died and she had no hair anymore and no teeth and was all shriveled up. And I left the hospital and went to his house, and he thought I was going to be like sad. He was in the mindset of comforting me with my grandmother. And I said, are you going to get married? Are we going to get married or not? And he was like, oh my God. I was unprepared for this conversation. And I said, well, but I see like myself at the end of my life, and what do I want my legacy to have been, and like who I want to have been. And he was like, oh. So then we started talking about it more then. And I was like, you know, we can even have a long engagement. Like, I'm cool with that. We had kids navigating in different schools, all that kind of stuff. And then probably about 1.5 years, I really started to pull back from him. He was traveling an outrageous amount for work. So but for me, it was very much, he had been such an amazing piece of my life that I thought, I do not want to drag this out into a place that I ever see you and I think anything other than, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. I never wanted to get bitter towards him. I never wanted to get angry. If we want different things, that's okay, right? That's okay. Totally. I'm okay. You're okay. Everybody's okay. What's not okay is if I don't respect myself in a way. Yeah. And I grow bitter towards you and angry towards you. And then I run into you in a restaurant 5 years from now, I want to punch you in the face rather than give you a hug. That was a personal integrity within me. So that's kind of the timing. I don't know that the 2-year rule is always appropriate because that's quite a bit of time, but considering the timing of my life, it would have been pretty inappropriate much earlier than that.
When you went in and you met him, you weren't actually in a place where you were necessarily looking for the one. You were just getting out there and having fun. So that makes sense. Like if you were in a place where you're like, I'm just having fun, and you don't think you ever want to get married. Cool. You know, I'm getting out there again. That works. But if you're in a place where you're very clear on, I want to be married. I want someone who can really show up and who's not afraid of that, then it's not going to be a match in that moment for someone who's like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, there were so many circumstances, but I agree. And you know, when I was dating, I obviously was not in this space, in the relationship coaching space yet. Yeah. Okay. Totally. But now it's so fascinating that I'm talking to all these dating coaches, and it's like I did everything like right. Like
that's great.
Everything, like be open. Get out there, meet new people, give a green flag so they know to approach you, have good, interesting conversations. And I wasn't needy at all because I wasn't thinking I've got to lock somebody down. Like that was so far from my mind.
And that's the thing is like when you're not needy, like when you're in a really good place within yourself, your energy is on point, you know, you're having fun, you're open. It's like, you're not trying to cling to something or bring someone in to fix your life. And that is so attractive. And
so I'll tell you a story on me.
Yes, tell me.
Okay. To all the listeners who, please remember I'm a good person as you hear the story and all the other stories that you told me. Okay. So I was, this guy was talking to me and he came up and he said, "You're really pretty." And I said, "I know." And he goes, "What?" And I said, "I know." And he goes, "Wow, you're really confident." I said, "Oh, would it make you feel better if I degraded myself and made myself told you I was ugly so that you fed my ego and you made me feel better and made me feel like I was okay with myself our first 2 minutes of interaction. And he said, we should go out. And I said, Thursday will work. I swear to you.
You're such a badass. Look at you.
And we never went on the date or anything. But, it was that confidence is like a little much. That's why I was like, oh, let me preface this story with.
You were pushing it. You were pushing it. But it is that confidence that's so attractive. It's that, that I don't really care whether you like me or not. I'm just going to be myself, and you can take it, you can leave it. It is so attractive. It's when but so many women, I find they feel like they need to catch the guy. And so they're trying to be on good behavior and kind of tiptoe around, say the right thing, look the part, and that is not attractive. And men, they can feel energetically that this is not a woman who's standing in her power. And for a high quality man, it's not going to be a match.
Well, and even that very first few seconds of the conversation, it was, oh, did you want me to say something to make myself, like some kind of false humility so that then you could make me feel better? Is that the dynamic you want to start this thing with? And they recognized every other female that had ever done that. Like, oh, I'm so fat. And all the time, no, you're not fat, honey. And they went, whoa, this is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And not to my own horn, but that's the part of it. It's like, be different, stand out from among the crowd. If everybody's bringing in the representative and hanging out in the corner, hoping somebody comes and talks to them, stand out, figure out a way to stand out in an authentic way.
Yeah. Be yourself fully, and make sure you do the work within yourself. So you're not playing small and pony dancing around. Like really, when you can embody yourself and own who you are and your worthiness, the whole process is fun, and you end up attracting in really great people. So
let's say there's someone who needs to hit the dating exhaustion reset button. They're just like, and they need to hit that reset. What's a strategy that they could do to hit that reset button?
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, if you need to take a little break, if you need to get off of it for a few weeks and just kind of be and not be looking at things, do it. And also, if you're burnt out, maybe change your strategy. Are you on there every day, constantly looking? Is it, how much are you looking at your phone? How much are you engaging? You get to decide how much energy you put towards it. So if you're burnt out, set it up so that it works for you. Maybe that's you check your phone once a day or twice a day for 10 minutes max, or maybe it's 3 days a week you're looking. I mean, you can really set it up so that it works for you, but you don't have to be constantly tending to it and looking at it, because that can be a real burnout. And also, the more that you're picking, the better you are at discernment and only picking people that are pretty high quality, the less you're going to be burnt out. I think when we start saying yes to all these people, oh, he's pretty hot, maybe that'll work. Oh, it's hot. Then you have all these people and it's like not working out with a lot of them. But the more discerning you are and you're picking higher level people, it's more fun. You're going to have less burnout.
And it's so funny. We think about boundaries with people, right? We're all boundaries with people. I'm so proud. I think it was Time magazine, and they said they had the front cover was on addictions. And they had, drugs, alcohol, whatever. And they had a phone. And I was so proud. I did a master's thesis on screen time in children a long time ago.
Oh,
and before it was a conversation, like before it was cool to talk about, but I was just like seeing it was baby Einstein that drove me crazy. I would see kids' eyes glaze over and I felt something must be wrong, And it was interesting. What I learned was that it's not that the phone is bad. It's the stuff you're missing out in your life, real life interaction, real life being present, seeing a sunset, seeing your child's face light up because you're on your phone. So I love that you said that, and thinking about boundaries with our phones, boundaries with dating apps, boundaries with technology, boundaries with, I'm not saying you can't watch Netflix or anything like that, but that needing a break from even just the phone. You don't have to give up dating where it feels like a lifeline. I'm never going to find anybody. But setting a timer for yourself.
Absolutely. Set a freaking timer. And I think the more, you're talking about seeing sunsets and engaging in your life, the
Mm.
more that you're taking care of yourself and you're doing the things that light you up and that you love, you're nourished,
Yeah.
and so you're less burnt out. There's less of a focus on
Yes.
online to fulfill you and find that person, and more of a
Yes.
just a nourishment. And then there's less burnout too. So making sure that
Yes.
you're really taking care of yourself and doing things that make you happy, that's really important too, to prevent burnout.
And that was something I had to hit the reset button in my own life after the book came out and all that kind of stuff. My poor husband, I hadn't paid attention to him in so long. I was like recording an audiobook with somebody in Europe at like 3 a.m. I'm like, and it was just like, oh, I felt like I was coming out of a fog. And
Yeah.
really, that's a life skill. I think it's a frustrating skill if someone's listening and they're dating and they're just like, oh, I don't want to have to, and then I'm scared of this and I'm scared of this. But that's a life skill. Like, you go through ebbs and flows, and something very involved happens in your life, and then you have to tap back into your feminine energy,
Yeah.
nourish yourself, become a woman that, in that very
Yeah.
light way again. Is that what you're talking
Mhm.
about?
Yeah, it's like nourishing yourself, being the person that you want to date. In my group coaching program,
Ooh,
I have
yeah.
I have a module called being the person you want to date. And it's so important to make sure, are you, all the qualities that you're looking for,
Mhm,
do you also have those? Because oftentimes
mhm,
we look for qualities that we don't possess, and
mhm,
we want someone
mhm.
else to bring those in. So making sure that you're at a good place with yourself. If your house isn't dialed, if your finances aren't dialed, if your health isn't dialed, put energy toward upping
Mhm,
those things, because that is going to bring so much more fulfillment,
mhm,
and it's going to be easier to date when you're more fulfilled and you're happier and all of that. So
mhm.
what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about.
love the word nourish. I'm thinking like a little paper, like wafer crackers that like are easy to like crack if you're not nourished. I'm trying to think of like what the most nourished food would be. Maybe like, I don't
Oh, the
know.
most nourishing food. I think it'd probably be different for everyone, right? But
I know
I
that's
mean,
what I was
I'm
thinking.
like, what came to my mind? Okay, I'm curious yours. When I thought about nourishing, I was like
Uh,
warm soup, like really hearty soup that's
okay, very
warm and it's
similar
got
to,
lots
I
of
was
stuff.
thinking like a chicken pot pie, and I have not eaten a chicken pot pie
Oh,
in a long time, but warm. It's got like a shell,
yeah.
gooey inside, vegetables inside, very similar to the soup.
Yeah, warm. So we have the commonality of
Yes.
warmth and vegetables. Yeah.
Yes, yes. No, I mean, I was thinking like a chicken pot pie. That is so. I haven't even eaten. It's so unhealthy. I haven't eaten one in 2 years.
Isn't there a lot of
Why did
butter
that
in
come to
that? Yeah.
mind?
Yeah. But it's like something that's, being like soothing and comforting. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
eat that at my grandmother's when I was little, like the little frozen
Oh,
chicken pot pies.
oh
It's
my
just like
gosh.
it was so
Brings
horrible. But
back
as
the
a kid,
memories.
yes,
Yeah.
as a kid, it was like, oh, that's so nice. A very
It's
must have been
familiar, right? It's
familiar,
familiar. So yeah, there we
familiar, and
go. Same
comforting.
thing.
Oh, that's
Yep.
awesome. Well, Melanie, tell everyone where they can find more out about you.
Yeah. So you can find me. I'm on social media, Instagram, Melanie Hersch,
Mhm.
Facebook. I've got my business page is Good at You. And my website is goodatyou.com. And yeah, so they can find me there. And yeah, if anyone is, there's a lot of people and they kind of go, what's getting in my way?
Right.
What is holding me up from finding a great relationship, and they feel stuck. I do offer these half-hour sessions where
Mhm.
if you want some help figuring out what is getting in your way and kind of seeing your blind spots, feel free. You can book that on my website, and I'm happy to talk with you.
And you talked about blind spots, and I do want to say I think one of the things many women miss as far as blind spots is that showing up in a nourished way.
Yeah.
It feels thin, it feels tired, it feels a little bit like, oh, I'm burnt out, I'm
Yeah.
kind of needy.
Yeah.
Just someone listening, sorry, not to distract from that, but you said blind
Yeah.
spots, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Or bringing in she who still needs healing.
Bringing in, what was it?
She who still needs healing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what the blind spots are, areas that need some attention and love.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And there are
mm-hmm,
things that we just haven't been paying attention to, and we haven't been
mm-hmm.
seeing. It's so hard to see our own blind spots,
Yeah.
It's so hard to see ourselves. So
Mm-hmm,
sometimes a little outside perspective can be helpful with that. But
mm-hmm,
yeah, it's like once we do work and heal the layers within us that are kind of not being tended to, the whole
Mhm.
process becomes so much easier and more fun.
Well, I love it. Melanie, thank you for coming on here today.
My
And
pleasure.
yeah, well, thank you for helping us on our journey to becoming toxic person proof.
Thank you.